you guys? What's up?
Yeah.
Is this microphone working? I guess it should be. It says Blue Yeti on it.
Good.
Every now and then it turns itself off, but I'm not really sure.
So last night we saw Shut In.
Well, it was Thursday night, actually.
Thursday, yeah.
What I was going to say before we started is that if you suddenly hear classic rock blaring through it's not me. Our neighbors are having a Super Bowl party.
It's ridiculous.
And earlier, like 5 or 10 minutes before we started, it was so loud, the classic rock, that I thought it sounds like it's in the room with me, like in the office with me.
Yeah, and those dudes are country as fuck. I don't know what these country straight dudes are listening and watching football for. I mean, the football's come out and said it was gay. So, you know, maybe they just said, maybe they're flipping gay on me over there. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tom.
NFL, they said they were gay.
But, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
but
they said they were gay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? This is the dumbest conversation ever. But no, they were like...
I just don't know why those dudes are watching it. They
millions of people watch it.
They wouldn't watch anything else that was gay.
Still watch it.
They would, yeah.
I'm just saying. I forgot, but then...
these dudes run around playing with balls and shit, fucking with them tight-ass pants, you know what I mean? They don't look straight to me. It just doesn't.
Well, yeah, comedians have been saying that since the 80s.
Yeah, smack each other on the ass and shit.
No, but what I wanted to say is, if music starts blaring, it's not me, it's them. It's like super, super loud.
I know Zach's
but
in
probably not. I don't think he usually comes out.
Right. I was gonna have him
but
tell
yeah.
me, I was gonna have him tell me how gay he thought football was, because I know he's gonna say, "Oh yeah, that shit's sexy." Anyway, we saw this movie. I thought it was last night, but you know how my
it was Thursday night.
Jen got to correct me on that one. We saw Shut In. All right, my friend and he's a listener on the show. I went to school with him. Brian, he did the sound on this movie. He also did the sound on VFW, which is another movie that I like. He did a bunch of other movies that I like. I can't recall them though off the top of my head right now. Just feels like I just woke up. I don't know what it is. Anyway.
Yeah, what's your deal?
I don't know. He also did Terror on the Prairie, which is coming out in a couple months. He says that one's even better than this one.
They had a trailer for this. This world premiered on YouTube Thursday night.
Saw it for free. They had 78 or 80,000 people watching it for free on a live stream. Took it a while for the live stream was fucking up for a bit in the very beginning. They finally got it right.
Yeah, they had technical difficulties.
It was counting down, and then it worked. We saw. So sometimes you get to see the premiere for free. So anyway, this movie is made by Daily Wire. You know, it's got that Ben Shapiro dude. So kind of like the gimmick is that it's not Hollywood. It's like an independent films, and it just doesn't. I guess you say it kind of has. I guess kind of like traditional. I don't want to say right wing, but just kind of just.
Does it though? Well, see, that's the thing about it.
I didn't see that.
I didn't either. And well, here's the dumb thing about this. And I will say this was actually a decent movie. It's a psychological thriller. We'll get into it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But when I looked more into the thing, because when we were watching it, and they had that douchey introduction.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been there.
Where I was just kind of like, can we just watch the movie without you banging on about whatever the fuck you're banging on about? And it was just really dumb. And they were talking about, this movie's so brave and Hollywood would never make anything like this. And I'm like, you know what's stupid about that? Is that the screenplay, let me talk. Yeah. The screenplay for this, written by Melanie Toast, was actually on the Hollywood Blacklist, which if you don't know what that is, that's every year Hollywood producers, directors, insiders, everybody like that, they vote on what they think are the best or their most liked screenplays for that year that have been unproduced. So this one, Shut In, was on the one for 2019. And matter of fact, back in 2019, Hollywood, or at least New Line Cinema, actually was going to make this, and it was in development. Jason Bateman was actually going to direct it, but then it fell through, so they didn't end up making it. So then later they made it. And the guy that directed this was DJ Caruso, and he also directed The Salton Sea, which was actually a pretty good flick with Val Kilmer.
I didn't see it.
He did Disturbia, which was also a pretty good flick. Also, he did The Disappointments Room with Kate Beckinsale, which was not really that good a flick. It was okay, but it was like a horror. It was a horror movie. It was all right, but it wasn't really that fantastic. I wrote about it on my blog like a while back. But so yeah. So this movie, I guess the idea for it has been floating around for a while. The script has been was on the Hollywood blacklist in 2009, so they finally did make it. And then Daily Wire ended up picking it up, and this is kind of like their first one. So I will say that even though we're reviewing this movie, and it premiered on Thursday night on YouTube, you could watch it for free. But if you want to watch it now,
you gotta pay.
You have to go to the Daily Wire, which is like, conservative right-wing site, and you have to go to their $12 or their $20 tier to watch it. You cannot watch it.
They're not streaming it right there on YouTube?
Nope.
I thought you could you can't get it there, huh?
Nope.
That's so you gotta go to Daily Wire. That kind of sucks. And they want $12 for it?
Yeah, you have to go to at least the $12 tier. You can't, because they have a $5 tier too, but they're not going to let you watch it on there.
Okay.
So yeah, you have to pay $12 a month or $20 a month to watch this movie, which it's good, but I don't think it's worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah. I'm just saying it's not worth it. But it's not a bad flick though. I actually quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, the movie itself was just a decent movie. I mean, I would call it a competitive movie. It can compete with stuff that Hollywood would make.
That's why I thought was so weird about that whole message at the beginning was like, this doesn't really seem particularly different to a regular psychological thriller. There wasn't anything in it that I would have considered.
Well, you know what?
All that different.
There was some religious symbolism there.
Yeah, but it wasn't
heavy-handed.
No, and like my atheist ass wasn't bothered. I wasn't bothered.
Religion is a thing. People have religions. Religious symbolism is sometimes used in a lot of stuff. It just didn't really pop out as particularly right-wing or Christian-y.
No, not at all.
Movie.
Like, it had some religious symbolism, but nothing that's not in other secular movies. It didn't bother me.
And quality was good. Quality of the production.
Yeah, the acting was quite. I mean, these are actually like actors that I've seen in other things.
Right. The thing is that when it was opening it up, and the kind of like the way they're trying to sell these movies, almost makes you think it's like a pure flick. Like a Christian flick.
That's because I was watching that because I didn't realize like who was putting this out at first, and then I saw that introduction. And I'm like, oh god, did I get fooled into some like right wing shit? Oh no! And then, but then I was watching it and then I was like, oh, this is a normal movie.
Just a normal movie.
Yeah, it's just a normal.
And then like it's almost kind of like a lot better than say like a Hallmark flick, but
yeah, it definitely was.
The way they were trying to talk about it was kind of like, oh, well, we're gonna do it. And I was like, oh shit, is this going to be like one of the Hallmark movies or what the hell? You know what I mean? It just was, but it wasn't. I
could have really done without that douchey intro.
Yeah, it didn't need that.
It really didn't need to be in there.
It kind of spoiled aspects of the movie, and it also puts you in a frame of mind to where you're already kind of prejudiced me against the movie when I was going like, this is going to suck.
Because I'm sitting there going, oh no.
Suck. But no, it didn't. It was a good movie.
Yeah, it was totally fine. It was
totally unnecessary. They need to let the viewer make up their mind about the movie. Don't tell the viewer what the movie is. Let the fucking viewer enjoy it.
It was just so, like that beginning part. It was just like so sanctimonious.
Yeah.
It was it had this whole undercurrent of we don't want like this Hollywood liberal agenda blah blah blah. It was like that kind of shit, and I was just kind of like.
I don't think he said that.
He didn't, but that's what he meant.
That was the tone.
It was this sanctimonious.
I understand that there's a market that is tired of that. But it's not artistic to even address it. Just put the fucking movie
That's
out.
what I was saying. I was like, can we please just watch
put the fucking movie out. Let them enjoy the movie and fucking.
And it was a good movie.
Let them interpret it. Don't fucking grandstand over the.
That's what I mean. It's like, shut up, dude.
That dude didn't make the movie anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Shut the fuck up. He didn't make the movie. Just fucking show the movie.
He didn't direct the movie. He didn't write the movie.
Right.
It's like, shut the fuck up about the movie. Just let people watch it. I know it just pissed me off, but then you know what I mean.
But I thought I think it's kind of a bad marketing move.
It is.
And now that you have to go to Daily Wire and pay $12 a month to have access to the movie, and there's only like a couple movies up there, right?
Well, this is their first one. So they're kind of trying to. I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to basically the reason that they started getting into making movies is they want to attract more people to their site. And they want people to pay.
So it's going to be kind of like a Netflix.
Right. But it's like behind a paywall.
Right, but behind a paywall.
But that's kind of
rough.
Yeah.
I think I would rather do it like streaming a la carte and something that can compete price-wise with the competition.
I mean, you probably make more money in the aggregate. And honestly, like I said, this movie absolutely does not have to be behind a paywall on a right-wing site because it's not. It's just a regular-ass
movie. Now,
thriller.
Maybe they're trying to use psychology and make these exclusive things. Like you have to join the club and like, you know what I mean?
I guess, but
not a good marketing.
It's not. No, I don't think so.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I think it's going to go down in flames, but it will. And then, like I said, it sucks because, like I said, this is a pretty decent flick. Yeah. And if you just released it on normal ass streaming platforms, then people would probably get like a decent audience. You know what I mean?
That's what I would do.
Because honestly, like I said, this has like actual actors that like Rainey Qualley was in it. She's like the main character, and she was in Ocean's 8. I think she was on Mad Men, which is a fantastic series. So she plays this one. What was her name in the movie? Jessica, I think. I think her name was Jessica. And she's an ex-drug addict. I think in the thing it said heroin, but I'm pretty sure it was meth.
Yeah.
But she was like a recovered drug addict. And she's a single mom. She has a little girl whose name is Lainey. Yeah. And then she has like a little baby boy named Mason. And she gets left her grandmother's house, like after her grandmother dies. And it's kind of like a big old ramshackle kind of farm type situation. She gets left that, and she's kind of having a hard time. She's struggling, because she's a single mom. And her ex-boyfriend, who is still a junkie, she just kicked him out. So she's like, well, I can't afford to pay the taxes on this house that I inherited, so I'm going to move to Texas. But then it happens that her scumbag ex-boyfriend, who's actually played by the guy that was in The Vast of Night. You remember that movie on Amazon Prime? That was a great movie, too, by the way. We reviewed that a while back. But, he plays the scumbag ex-boyfriend. And he ends up coming back, and they get into a fight. Oh, with his scumbag friend, played by Vincent Giallo, who is implied that he's a pedo.
Yeah.
And a drug addict, so, fun times. And so they come back and they get into an argument, and it so happens that Jessica gets nailed into the pantry and she can't get out.
Yeah.
So, and then like her kids are still like on the outside of the thing. And that's pretty much the setup. I mean, other stuff happens, but that's pretty much the setup. Largely, it takes place in this one house with her trapped in this pantry, trying to get out. Yeah. But that's pretty much the setup of it. And honestly, like I said, it's pretty good. It's pretty tense. Yeah. You know what my favorite thing in it was? And this is something coming from me because I'm not a big fan of kids in movies. That little girl in the movie was darling.
Yeah.
Her little voice was like so funny because like you heard the reason we found out about this movie because like the guy that did the sound on it like told us about it, and so he was the one that did all the sound, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, the sound design in this was really good, especially because
little girl running and coming.
Yeah, like Jessica being trapped in the pantry and then her having this little girl who's like 3 or 4 or something like that. Yeah. She's pretty small and trying to get.
She's not any much of a help.
Yeah, I mean, she's just little. She can't really help all that much. And so, like, her having to ask this little girl to go get things, and it's so you can't really see her. You just hear little feet going, poop, 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 and then she comes back. Mason pooped, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I was just like, that little girl is so fucking cute. She was so fucking cute.
Brian, I guess he said he liked the movie, but he said there was some stuff that got cut out that he thought would have made the movie a lot better. Had to do certain death scenes and stuff. Guys falling from windows, but I hadn't seen the footage that he was talking about.
Well, now that's I don't want to. Well, does it matter if we spoil it? Because I'm imagining most people won't be able to see it.
Yeah, I don't really understand.
Unless Daily Wire gives up and is like, "Fuck it, we'll just put it on a streaming service like a normal person."
Yeah, why is this just not on Amazon?
That's what I mean. That's so dumb. It's like I don't understand like why
they're trying to develop their own platform, maybe. But this is the thing: you do that later once you have a bunch of movies.
Yeah, don't just do it with one movie because it's like who the hell is going to do it just for that one movie?
Right.
As good as that movie is, and like I said, this is a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But
one I really want to see is the next one that's coming out. That Terror on the Prairie is supposed to be really good.
Yeah, it's like a western.
It's a western.
And even when we saw the premiere of this, they showed the trailer for that. That does look pretty decent.
And they had a trailer for a kids superhero movie that frankly didn't look too good.
No, that really
didn't look too good.
No,
the edit in that trailer was not.
What the hell was that? What was it called?
I don't know. Something Super Kids. I don't know.
No, shit. No, I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, because I was like, that doesn't look too.
Like
that doesn't look too great.
Superhero movie.
Yeah, it was called The Somethings, but I can't remember like what it was exactly.
It did not look exciting. The edit didn't look exciting. I haven't seen the movie. I was just talking about the trailer to that movie. Yeah, I think I'd go fix that trailer. Or maybe that's the nature of that movie. I don't know.
See, it's hard to tell because a lot of times, we've kind of talked about this before, making a trailer is also an art in itself. Yeah, right. Because sometimes I've seen some shitty-ass trailers, and then I actually did go to see the movie, and I'm like, oh man, that movie was like so much better than the trailer implied. And then sometimes I've seen like a kick-ass trailer, and then you go see the movie, and you're like, the movie wasn't that good.
Based on the trailer, it looks like it's maybe something kind of like Turbo Kid.
Yeah,
but I got a feeling it's not
meets like second or third tier The Incredibles, except not animated.
Meets Kick-Ass.
Meets Kick-Ass. Yeah, I got a little bit of a Kick-Ass vibe.
But it was just something that looks substandard about it, and it's just the way that trailer is.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
about.
That did kind of look.
Yeah. Very bland looking.
But yeah, I mean,
the trailer to fucking Terror on the Prairie looked great though.
That actually did look pretty good. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
But I mean, I'm not a huge fan of westerns, but I mean, I'll watch any genre if it's good, so I'm not really bothered.
This platform thing, man, there's already too many platforms.
Yeah, it's like everybody can't have their own platform.
Right.
I mean, you can, but I just don't know how well that's going to work out for you.
No, I would sell that shit Blu-ray a la carte. Just buy the Blu-rays.
I mean, yeah, it's like, why don't they do stuff like normal indie filmmakers or something like that? Or you can license it to, Amazon Prime or whatever.
Well, maybe that's what they're going to do.
Or Tubi or something. I don't know how... I don't actually know how... something that's free to watch, like Tubi or Pluto... I'm not really sure how it works, like, licensing-wise, because it does seem like Tubi, for example, has a fuck ton of really cheap, like, indie movies. So I don't know if you get, like, some kind of, like, money every time somebody watches it, because Tubi is free to the viewer, but there's ads on it, so I'm assuming there's, like, ad revenue coming in somewhere. I just don't know how the fee schedule works out for that, but it does seem like you can get your shit on Tubi.
Yeah. Fairly
easily,
and it's the political slant to the project wasn't there when I looked at it. I didn't, which I think that's a good thing.
The Hyperions, that was the name of that movie.
Hyperions.
That's right. I knew it was the somethings. I just couldn't remember what it was.
The movie I think just stood on its own.
I thought so too.
It didn't need anything, but the platform, the Ben Shapiro thing. Look, I don't like Democrats and I don't like Republicans. I think they're both full of shit. All right, I think they're just two bands of fucking liars and thieves. And Ben Shapiro, I mean, some of the shit I've heard him say is fucking fine. I don't really have anything against him. Just he talks too fast. As soon as you start talking fast like that, you're deceptive. That's don't like. But okay, man, look, that's it. Sit the fuck down. I don't want to hear it. It's just I don't know. And he's behind the project. I don't know, man. I'm skeptical.
Well, see, but that's what I mean, and that's what weirded me out about this whole thing, because, like I said, I didn't know that there was all of this political crap going on behind this.
It didn't need to have it. It wasn't
right, and it's just like, and I thought it's just like a fucking movie because we just knew a guy that worked on it. So I was like, ooh, okay, free movie. Right. We're premiering, and we know somebody that did the sound on it, and that's really neat. And then this, the intro starts, and I'm like, oh God, now what? Yeah. And you know what I mean? It's like I don't want to be tricked into like watching some right wing shit, and then you know what I mean? It's like I was in a bad mood.
I got no problem with right wing shit as long as it's good, man. Conan.
Right, but see, stuff like that doesn't strike me as that. And but this movie, it's kind of the same thing. I think they overplayed, in this douchey introduction that we talked about. They overplayed how different this movie was. They overplayed like what values this movie is promoting. I'm like, this is just like a regular ass movie. Thriller. There wasn't anything.
Okay, look,
what was in there that that was particularly. I didn't catch anything.
I think right now, the past couple of years, you haven't really seen movies so much like this. I mean, you would, but you wouldn't hear much about it. They wouldn't be promoted. It'd be something that they would just show randomly at fucking AMC.
Thrillers, they're kind of like they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, they're just
a lot of people make them. Well, and a lot of people make them because they're inexpensive.
Right.
And they tend to have higher returns.
For me, when it came to messaging and content, this was kind of like a movie of the late 90s, early 2000s. That it could have fit right in there. You still saw sometimes religious messaging. You saw drug stuff, and it just wasn't that different.
That's what I mean. To me, it didn't strike me as different at all. Because, like I said, I've seen lots of movies, like horror movies, all kind of movies that have quote unquote religious symbolism and shit. Like every Exorcist movie ever made.
Another thing that dude brought up, he said that the version of this movie they were gonna do had a lot less dialogue. It was more action to play more for the Chinese market. Which I can see that. There is some shit that they changed for the Chinese market and foreign markets. Hollywood is they'll build a movie by committee, and sometimes the art suffers. I mean,
well, yeah, I don't think anybody's
look at what they did to Star Wars.
Nobody's arguing with that, and like I said, that's been going on since the fucking start of Hollywood. They honestly, there's so much money that they're putting on the line. They want a return on that investment. So, and sadly, a lot of times the best way to do that is to make something that will please as many people as possible and offend as few people as possible. Yeah. So a lot of times you get kind of like bland ass movies. You know what I mean? That's just kind of what happens.
But then what's funny is that one that they made for China was fucking badass. Meg. Remember the Megalodon?
The Meg, yeah.
The Meg. That was made for China. That shit was.
That was actually
awesome.
A pretty fun.
Awesome
that was a pretty fun movie.
Yeah. Just dumb shark movie.
Yeah.
Jason Statham, fucking hot Chinese chick. They're getting eaten by sharks. The shark is fucking huge. You know, that's all. That's all it's about. It makes sense though when you're there.
I'm pretty much on board with any kind of shark movie. Any kind of shark movie. There's 40 bajillion of them. Yeah. Well, because I think there's a reason for that. Is because sharks are fucking scary. Yeah. They're real and they're scary. Yeah. They could really eat you in real life.
So was the movie good? Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I quite liked it.
Yeah. Was it $12 good? No.
No.
No. Would it be $5.99 good on Amazon? Yeah.
Yeah, like if they were charging like $5 to rent it,
yeah.
I wouldn't feel bad.
Yeah.
It was decent. The acting was really good. Like I said, there was actually like a really lot of tension. She can't get out of this fucking pantry. Her little kids are, she's this tiny little girl and a baby.
Yeah.
And she's trying to like tell the little girl, hey, you got to change the little kid's diaper, and hey, give him some apple butter because they've already packed up all the food in the car. She can't get out and all this other kind of stuff. So having this little girl like trying to take care of this baby, and then you have like this fucking junkie and his pedo friend coming over, like, and the pedo is like after the little girl and all this other kind of shit. And you can just hear all the shit going on like upstairs, and Jessica and the pantry is like freaking out. So there was like a lot of really good tension. There was like some good violence in there. Like what I'm not gonna. Well, like I said, does it matter if I spoil it? Because I think eventually it'll probably
come out. It'll probably get this on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
they'll probably have it on DVD and Blu-ray. Would I pay $10 for DVD or Blu-ray? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
it's kind of lower on my list because it's got a lot of stuff. I gotta get Zardos first. But I think Terror on the Prairie is gonna be a lot better. And fucking Brian says that from what he saw working on the fucking Terror on the Prairie, that thing's gonna be badass. Talking about like Clint Eastwood level. Fucking, Clint Eastwood level at least. So we're talking, Pale Rider and fucking that kind of shit.
I mean, we'll see. I hope so.
We'll see.
But I can't believe, you know what though? When I said earlier, like I'm going back a long way now, but when I said this movie here that we're talking about, Shut In, was directed by DJ Caruso. Yeah. And I said that he had also done The Salton Sea. And I was like, you seriously never saw The Salton Sea, that movie? I thought we watched it together.
I went to The Salton Sea.
No, I know you did, but I thought we watched that movie together like a few years ago.
That movie?
Like Val Kilmer was in it, remember?
What'd they do?
And they shot it there, like in that village around there. I can't remember. It's been years since we've seen it.
Bombay Beach?
Yeah. I could have sworn that we watched it together.
Maybe I didn't see it.
I mean, it's been a while. It's probably been like 6 or 7 years, but I'm pretty sure that we saw it together.
Yeah.
Because you were like, hey, I've been there.
Right.
So we ended up watching it. I remember it being really good. Although I don't remember exactly what happened in it, but I remember Val Kilmer was in it.
Yeah, Grandpa says, I hate movies with political message, even if I agree with the message. I'm saying the same thing, man. The political message has to be contained in the meaning of the story. It's not supposed to be preaching to you. You know what I mean? Like a good example is fucking Conan. It's fucking filled with fucking Wagnerian, Nietzschean stuff. okay? But it's part of the story. It's not really preaching. It's just showing you things, showing you certain principles. But here's the good news. That's not in this movie. It was just that little intro of the dude talking about the movie. He's kind of hyping the movie before you see it.
Yeah, and like I said, I could have done
wait, what kind of... Oh, man, this is going to be like something off fucking Pure Flix. This isn't going to be a
That's
Hallmark
like the
movie.
impression that I got.
Impression. Right, yeah.
And I was just kind of like...
Right.
And the movie is completely, totally not like that.
Yeah, and then you get to the movie, it's just a normal good movie.
It's just a good movie.
It's a very competitive. This would be, something Hollywood would do. Yeah, maybe in certain elements of the story, elements it might have were a little bit harder edged or a little bit stronger in its opinion, but it wasn't annoying at all. It really, without that intro, I probably wouldn't have been able to notice much different.
I wouldn't have either.
Yeah.
I would like I said, it would never have occurred to me
that it wasn't Hollywood.
Yeah, if that, or even just like an indie film,
right? An indie film
of any kind.
And I think that's a testament. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Oh, Brian's here.
Oh, it was Brian.
Hi, Tom and Jenny. Brian here, sound mixer for this. Glad you liked. I quite liked it. I thought
we liked it. I thought the hype. I thought the fucking. We were talking about the intro. The hype man. The intro kind of fucking spoiled the movie because we're like, wait, is this gonna be like a Pure Flick or is this gonna be like a Hallmark movie? Like, oh man, because sometimes if something is like branded with a strong political message, it fucking spoils it. But the good news is that no, it's just a normal movie, a fucking good movie with
it's just a good tense like psychological thriller.
Yeah, there wasn't anything
that had like some good gore, some good violence in it.
It just came across as like a real good. It just came across as a competitive movie. It looks like a Hollywood type production. The quality's there, the acting was there, the story was there. It didn't. Yeah, it had some. It was a little bit harder edged in certain aspects of the movie, but no, it was kind of like something you'd see out of Hollywood in the '90s and the early 2000s when there was still a certain element of sanity in Hollywood. Which I don't know. Hollywood's always been kind of insane, but this could have easily been a Hollywood movie. It can compete with them.
Cheryl. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Vincent Giallo. Yeah, I looked up a little bit about him because I was like, wow, I haven't seen him in a movie for a while. I think the last big movie he was in was back in 2013. And I heard he was a little bit of a crazy person. Yeah. Cheryl says, I love Vincent Giallo. If you go to his website, you can rent him for sex for $500,000. He's totally serious, too.
Damn.
I don't know a fuck ton about him, but yeah, that sounds like, that tracks. That tracks. No thanks, though.
He's probably talking gay sex.
I mean, even if I had $500,000, no, I could think of a lot more things that I could spend $500,000. That'd be way down the list. Yeah. Sorry, Vincent, but you were good in this movie though, playing a creepy ass pedo. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see Terror on the Prairie.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna do it like they did this one.
Yeah. See, we were talking before you got here, Brian. We were talking about this thing being behind a paywall on Daily Wire, and it's like you got to pay $12 to see this movie, evidently, and then there's only a couple movies behind that paywall. I don't really understand how that...
$12 a month. You have to be like a $12 a month. Yeah. Like I don't know if it's Patreon or if they have their own deal. I'm not really sure, and I'm not going there to find out.
Man, I think that's a bad idea.
It is, but I think it's gonna bite them in the ass, and I think eventually this will probably just end up going to a regular streaming service.
It needs to be they need to be. Maybe if Daily Wire had the ability to stream a la carte, that would make sense.
Yeah.
That way you could let me just see the movie.
You could just rent it for,
$4.99. Let me see the movie.
Yeah, for $5 or something like that. Right, like everybody, just like everywhere else does. Just like Amazon Prime and shit like that.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah.
And then sell DVDs and Blu-ray copies of it.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah, and then each movie has merchandise you can buy. That's just what I would do.
I mean, that seems like the best tried and true.
Right.
They seem like they're trying to do their own thing, and I just don't think it's going to work out the way they think it's going to work out.
It takes a while for them to fine tune it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it's behind a paywall, you got to pay $12.99 to get behind it, and there's really only a couple movies there. That strategy is not going to work. The general public needs access to the movie. There's got to be a way that they stream it a la carte to a customer who just wants to see the movie.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
That's what I mean.
Buy merchandise related
because
to the
honestly, if you're gonna make it this big rigmarole
Yeah.
for people to see the movie, then they're just not gonna see the movie.
They're already having a hard time getting people to just see normal movies on Amazon.
That's what I mean. Don't make it harder for people.
Which I think that might have been the reason why they are trying to sell this so differently. Like this is an exclusive product. Which, yeah, maybe it is, but you got to watch it out with that because that didn't work for Pure Flix. And I'm not sure that's working for Hallmark. You know, I don't. Although I bet you Hallmark has a whole bunch of octogenarians watching their fucking channel.
They have a whole fucking channel. And honestly, I don't remember what it was. I was reading an article about this a few months ago. But apparently, they release like a fuck ton of movies every year.
Yeah.
Like particularly around Christmas, because I think they do ones for like pretty much every holiday.
And they're all lit exactly the same way.
Well, yeah, they probably shoot a bunch of them at one time. They probably have like a couple of like warehouses somewhere that have all these sets. This is like our New York City set, and this is our this and that set, and they just go in there and switch out the actors and switch out the holidays. Yeah. So this is a Christmas one. Put some candy canes and some snow around.
Yeah.
John Gora says, Giallo made a movie with Sage Stallone. He won't release it, though. Yeah. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. Now I'm kind of curious.
Juan says that if Hollywood made it, it has to push a woke agenda. Yeah, recently it does. That's biting them in the ass, though. They're not going to be able to maintain that. This movie really, like I said, was... I would say philosophically was real close to what you see coming out of Hollywood in the 90s, early 2000s. It's not radically different. It's just like there were a lot of movies made in this
It's just like a survival thriller is what it is. It's just a survival
Right.
thriller. That's all it is.
Had it been made by Hollywood, yeah, they'd have probably put a couple of woke commercials in there. It would have annoyed you, but it probably wouldn't really change the nature of the movie that much. There are, I guess you could say that there's some Bible commercials in there, if you want to interpret that way. But I wasn't really interpreting it that way.
No, I wasn't either.
Did some religious symbolism, which, man, that's been in movies for a long time.
Well, and the thing about it was that, she finds a Bible in there, which presumably was her grandmother's.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of mysteries about the Bible. You'll see.
But it's not, like I said, it's not... I don't know. It didn't strike me as being like really overtly religious or anything.
Yeah, and it wasn't preachy.
Just because religious symbolism is just so ubiquitous in culture, so it's almost kind of like you don't really notice it anymore. It's like it didn't really strike me as anything all that strange. You know what I mean? So, let's see. I just got the original Night of the Living Dead 68 on DVD in color for $7. I think I have that somewhere. The colorized one. I have a colorized one, and I have a colorized one that has that's like a riff tracks.
You also got the colorized version of Last Man on Earth.
I don't think I've seen the.
I've never seen that colorized either.
I haven't seen it colorized. I don't know if I would like that or not.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like Night of the Living Dead colorized.
Night of the Living Dead, I've seen it colorized, but I'm so used to seeing it in black and white, and to me, it's just like. I don't know, just in my head, I always think of it in black. And I've seen the colorized Carnival of Souls, too. And even though they did, like, a good job on the colorizing, I still prefer to watch it in black and white. To me, it's, like, creepier to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do agree with the general sentiment is that there does need to be... Hollywood does need organized competition. If you have a damn monopoly, you know what I mean? Like...
But honestly,
it starts to stagnate.
And honestly, I think nowadays, though, I don't even think that's a problem because the cost of making movies is so cheap nowadays.
Yeah. It's almost not worth competing against Hollywood because Hollywood is already fucking fragmenting and breaking apart. You can some of the indie films are coming out; they're fucking great. Yeah. And then our access to foreign films, like the Koreans, are kicking ass.
That's what I mean. So I kind of feel like it's not even really a problem anymore. Just, if you're an indie filmmaker, you don't have a shit ton of money. I mean, just don't worry about the movie making $1 billion, because it's not going to. But you just have to, like, market things to a niche, and you will find a niche.
And here's another thing. I mean, you can't look at movies like every fucking movie that comes out every year is going to be some kind of classic. It wasn't even like that back in the 70s or the 80s. You were lucky to get 4 or 5 fucking super good movies that year.
Yeah, most of the
Rest of
movies
it's
were just like
garbage.
forgotten.
Garbage and forgotten.
Or they're terrible.
And Hollywood's been around for a long, long time, going back to what, the 20s, 30s, 20s. I think it's about what
I mean,
it started.
early. Well, you had silent films in the 1910s, I guess,
Okay,
but
1910s.
20s was kind
Been around
of when
forever.
it sort of like.
A lot of those
taken
movies
off.
haven't survived over time, though. But Hollywood's was around for about 100 years, and in American culture, man, there's fucking hundreds and hundreds of really good movies that you can go back and watch anytime you want to. It's not like it was back in the day. I mean, you can stream it. You got Blu-rays. I mean, you can go back and watch the original Jaws. You can watch all this fucking good shit anytime you want to. So, Hollywood has a fucking badass back catalog. You know, like I'd never seen Bullet. Went back and watched Bullet. It was like, yeah, that's a pretty good movie. You know. So, what's coming out? What comes out this year is kind of irrelevant. You got all that good shit in the past. You might get one or two good movies this year.
Well, yeah, and the thing about it is that a lot of times movies need like a few years to stew.
To like age out.
To age out, you know what I mean? I do like to see new shit too, but there's so much old shit that I still haven't seen or that I just saw when I was a kid that I want to rewatch. And like I said, you know, I would never complain about stuff shitty now or anything like that, because I was like, I can watch almost any movie that I can think of right now.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Okay. When I was growing up, like, you could never do that.
All right, so Daily Wire movie. This is the first one I've seen from them. It was good.
I think this is the first one that they've done. So.
I give it like a 75 out of 100, 78 maybe. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It was worth seeing. It was the quality was high. It was as good as Hollywood. It had its own angle, its own story that it was telling. I'm looking forward to seeing more from them. Brian says that the movies that are coming are even better. So we'll see. Each movie's done by a different team, so it's going to be hit or miss. It's just the way it is. I question the marketing, the way they're doing it behind paywalls and stuff. But we'll see. It'll probably take them a while to get that right. I'd like to see some fucking horror movies made by these guys. This was close to a horror movie, but I mean a straight up horror movie. Probably really good.
Yeah, I would call this like a thriller, but with horror elements. It was like a survival thriller, but it had some horror elements in the sense that it had like some violence and gore and stuff.
I'd like to see some horror. I'd like to see some sci-fi.
That might be interesting.
Yeah, something kind of along the lines of Hunter Prey. Man, I could really see a company like this doing something like Hunter Prey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Mango says Korean movies have been kicking ass for well over a decade. True.
Yeah. But you should have seen it back in the 90s when I was living in Korea, though. Man, they fucking sucked. Okay. Korea made
maybe they knew that it sucked, and they're like, man, we need to get our shit together.
Yeah. Back when I was in the 90s.
We're going to make the best movies ever now.
In the 90s, when I was there in Korea, there were guys my age watching those movies right along with it and they go, man, this shit sucks. And they grew up to be directing the movies that are kicking ass.
Well, that's probably why, because they're like, look at these shitty movies. We need to grow up and make some good movies. Well, and they did.
It was older Korean guys making that shit. Fucking, they didn't know what they were doing.
Gramthars says, will y'all venture over to your neighbors later to enjoy the big game with a few mundanes?
No.
Nah.
No.
I tend to forget that it's just kind of like, because I don't follow sports ball of any type.
Yeah.
So the only reason I knew was because I was reading an article on a food blog, and it was talking about, making your Super Bowl snacks.
I'd get drunk, dress up in my leather daddy outfit, and go down there and fucking instruct them on why.
He'd start grinding up on everyone's asses.
Be telling them, I would explain it, lay it all out, man, in a big old diagram, a whole flow chart of why sports ball is gay. Yeah. They wouldn't like that.
No, probably not.
They wouldn't like that.
You might get beat up.
It's gay.
Nothing wrong with gay. Actually, if it was,
I want them to face it.
If it was gay, it would be cooler. But
if it was openly gay, it's closeted. It's closeted. See?
Yeah, that's what makes it not cool. and they should embrace it.
Yeah, they're not seeing it for what it is.
I guess
that's
not.
gay.
Oracle said, "Have you ever seen Burn Witch Burn?" I have. Yeah. I think I might have reviewed it. I feel like because I watched it not too long ago, and I'm pretty sure I did one of my little movie reviews on it. So go back, on my little Flickers of Fear thing, and it was like several months, and it should be there, because I'm pretty sure. Mango is recommending Archive 81. Honestly, I watched it, but I think I still have one or two left, like at the end. So, and I still haven't finished Midnight Mass either, because I'm lame.
Yeah. Now, Danny comes out and says Tom Cruise in Oblivion is underrated. Hell yeah. I love Oblivion.
I actually really liked Oblivion.
Movie.
I'm not, like I said, everybody knows I'm kind of like meh on Tom Cruise, but Oblivion was actually very good.
I like Tom Cruise's movies, even the ones that are not all that great. He's always consistently himself. He's always delivering the goods. He always does what they hire him to do. Oblivion, I liked it. Real good.
I did as well.
Real good, yeah.
Cheryl says, I looked it up. I was wrong. It's only $50,000 to rent Vincent Giallo, not $500,000. What a bargain. You can also purchase his sperm.
Yeah.
Again, no thanks.
Juan's talking about making parallel medias and everything. There needs to be parallel everything's. Parallel.
Well, like I said, there already is that. I'm not really.
But no, I'm talking parallel banking structures, parallel fucking platforms, just... everything has to become decentralized. You cannot... high tech is too powerful to be left in the hands of just a few corporations or a few people. It was just like... we're in a situation like it was back in the old railroad monopoly days. The railroad was fucking dangerous back in the day. I mean, fucking... they could just... There was a dude, Carnegie, right? Wasn't that Carnegie? Or he was the steel guy. Who was it that ran the damn railroad? I think it was Carnegie, right?
What is he? Carnegie, Rockefeller.
No, Rockefeller.
Who was that other fucker?
I think it might have been Carnegie. If he didn't like you because you said something against him, and he'd make the fucking railroad go around your town.
Yeah.
And if that happened, your town would fucking vanish. So you think the flow of information can be fucking rooted around you and fuck you up? Back in the day, man, they could weaponize the railroad against you. They weaponized the railroad against New York and brought New York to its knees until they agreed to something that the railroad company and the oil companies started to merge. And fucking New York, one of those New York politicians was fucking fighting against it. They blockaded New York, didn't send supplies in there for like several weeks, started to starve out New York until they went, okay, they relented. This shit, the oligarchy's been fucking over America for fucking over 100 years. You know, serious shit. Started in the fucking mid 1800s with centralized banking going back to England and the Rockefellers and shit. They don't teach us the real history, but there are history programs that'll fucking... The Men Who Built America is a great series. That's I think it was on Netflix. It was on for a while, I think. And it'll explain it. They have a show on every one of those damn robber barons and what they did. They built the infrastructure. It did build the country up rapidly, but man, the price was kind of high. Not as high as, say, the Soviet Union and Stalin, but pretty high. These fuckers are bad.
Juan asked if I'd seen Mark of the Devil. I have, and I actually do want to do a review on it at some point because I haven't actually seen it for quite a long time. Mango's talking about Archive 81. I got a few eps left. We'll finish tonight. I think I have 1 or 2 episodes of Archive 81 left. Midnight Mass, I think I watched the first 3 or 4, and then I got distracted and I hadn't finished it yet, but I will get around to it. Oscar says, Jenny, do all the VHS movies. I know you did 84, or wait, was it VHS 84 or VHS 94? Yeah, we did that one. I will get around to that because I think I saw the first one and maybe the second one, and I remember them being good. But yeah, maybe I'll do like all of them in one go. Talking about starting a GoFundMe to buy some of Vincent Gallo's sperm. That dude's a nutcase.
No.
Wonder if he's had any takers. Probably not. I imagine. Oh my god. Yeah, Cheryl said I think I'll pass. I wonder if anyone has though. I mean, come on now. But yeah, so anyway. All right, so tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So for the matinee tomorrow, we're actually going to talk about the 2001 slasher Valentine. And then the day after, because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do, the day after Valentine's Day, we're going to do another sort of Valentine's Day movie, which somebody recommended to me, and I had totally forgotten that this movie took place on Valentine's Day, Picnic at Hanging Rock. So Tuesday, we're going to talk about that. And yeah, so that'll be good. We got 2 days of Valentine-adjacent movies. That should be fun. And that's... What else do you have to say? Anything?
No, that's it.
Okay, so I guess that'll do it for today. Have a good rest of your weekend. And we will see you guys again tomorrow afternoon. Bye.